You're watching Politics Now.
Well, most of Nevada's congressional delegation quickly and forcefully has weighed in on the Republican plan to repeal and replace the health care law. But Republican Senator Dean Heller has taken a more measured approach. Our face-off panel weighs in on Heller's response this week. From the left, we have Battleborn Progress Executive Director Annette Magnus, and from the right, KXNT radio host Alan Stock.
Let's talk about health care and Dean Heller. We haven't heard a lot because he hasn't necessarily been available to the media. You talked about the town halls, but what we have heard has been hesitation with it, especially talking about Medicaid. Alan, I'm going to ask you first. Are the attacks unfair on Dean Heller with regard to at least the actions in Congress right now trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act?
You know, right now, let me say two things about that. One is I see Dean Heller as being a political surfer. You know what a surfer does? He gets on a surfboard, he tries to put his weight off one way, and then it goes the other ways to make sure he doesn't fall off the surfboard, okay? And he's on a political surfboard, so he's kind of shifting his weight depending on which way the wind's blowing. I mean, you understand that, okay, we got that. Number two, real quickly about the health care situation in Congress. Democrats did this. They went ahead and they did something in secret. They didn't let anybody know. They created this whole thing called Obamacare, the ACA, and when people asked Nancy Pelosi, she said, well, you'll find out about it once we pass it. I mean, that's an infamous statement that she made, infamous. Now, what Republicans are doing is they're trying to replace and repeal piecemeal. And they're doing it a piecemeal, bit at a time, and they're have it be public as they do it. I think it's a huge mistake. I was listening to Rush yesterday, and what he said is what I believe also. I think that what Donald Trump is doing is he's laying back, he's letting the Republicans and Ryan and the rest of them basically make fools of themselves, and then he's going to step forward, I think, in the next couple, 3 weeks, say, okay, that's enough, that's enough. Here's my plan. I think he's got a plan, and I think he's going to put it forward, and then he's going to say, this is what I want you to do, and Republicans are going to be forced to go along with what he wants, and they're the majority, and I think that they'll be able to pass it. If they're all smart, meaning the president all the way on down the Republican Party, that's what will happen. Otherwise, this piecemeal stuff in public is like gnawing at little bits and pieces, and it's ridiculous.
I couldn't agree more. I think that Dean Heller is trying to have it both ways. And this is classic Dean Heller. We've talked about this 100 times on this. He wants to have it both ways. You know, he has a governor breathing down his neck because of Medicaid expansion, because that is Sandoval's legacy. He knows it's incredibly popular in this state and that over 100,000 people are on Medicaid simply because of that expansion. So if that goes away, there's going to be a lot of people mad at Dean Heller. He's up for one of the toughest re-elections in the country. And so he should be talking to his voters, whether they agree with him or not, or whether he agrees with them or not. He went to the Republican Club in Henderson the other day. It was supposed to be closed. Even the Republicans in the room gave him a hard time about not having town halls and the health care issue because, again, they can see through it. They know he's trying to have it both ways. And to me, as a voter and as a Nevadan, frustrating to have a senator who is not listening to anybody. He's not listening. At least if he was conservative all the time, I could respect him a little more.
Well, you can watch more of that discussion, plus some speculation on what bills Governor Sandoval will veto, and if we learned anything from 2 pages of Trump's tax returns. That's on LasVegasNow.com and our News.Vegas app. Patrick?